Hello everyone, this is Persephone and I'm back on this channel. I don't know if you watched my update, but I plan to start several other channels. It's going to be very difficult. But since there has been good responses so far, we will continue. So if you are one of my long-term viewers, please subscribe to the new channels that I'm going to list them in the community section and on the on the headline of my channel, like the sidebar and in many other places. So please subscribe, because until you do that, I'm going to be working without pay, which is, I don't like YouTube indentured servitude. So to our topic of today, this is going to be brutal, but it's going to help you, so buckle up. And that is self-evaluation as a beta male. I got that inspiration recently from talking to someone that he told me that he never realized how boring he looks at the eyes of women until I pointed it out because of, Asperger's. So I'm not saying this to insult anyone, and I started to get the kind of hate comment that they say, well, you say at one point that all betas should be locked in chastity and serve goddesses, and then you talk about beta providers, you have to pick. Truth is, I don't have to pick, because not all beta men are the same. There are several different categories. But this is a common thing that everyone needs to practice or to at least be aware of. What do you bring to the table in terms of charisma, personality, and making people want to keep you around? I don't want to sound racist here. I'm going to say, out of all of the people that I've been talking to and I've met in my life, and because of being online, I talk to people from all over the world, American people were by far the most boring. That does not mean anything. There is nothing wrong with you for being American, and you appear boring compared to European people or Asian people or someone else, and that's not the weeb me talking, because you never had to practice charisma. I believe that in America, especially if you are a millennial or older, there has been this toxic helicopter parenting where they say to every child that you're a snowflake, you're special, you're unique, and they leave it at that. And the child doesn't actually have to practice charisma, winning people over, being interesting, being interested, and so on. And by winning people over, I'm not going to talk about pick-up artist shit that they don't work here. Okay, not at all. And you're going to say, that's easy for you, you're a woman, you show your boobs, people are interested. That's true, but also I'm still a doomer who was practically in the basement for 10 years, and I have autism. I'm diagnosed with autism, and I can assure you that charisma is a skill that you can actually learn and practice. But even if you can't learn, if you are the turbo autist, like we say in incel forums, and you can't learn, there is still a solution for that. So it's win-win either way for you, pay attention. The first thing is that most people have extremely boring jobs or no jobs. So unless you are in the same workplace or unless you are having the same special interest, you have very, very few things to talk about. Example of professions that they're very useful, very respectable, and women find extremely boring. Banker, any kind of IT, like information technology. Any kind of, I'm living at my mom's basement, trying to be the next Elon Musk with my startup business. Gamer. I know that gamer is not technically a profession for most gamers, but they feel that they want to monetize it, so I'm going to count it. If you find yourself in similar categories, things are very dire, because if you want a relationship, or even if you want to serve a goddess, she needs to not die out of boredom because she associates with you. So this means you need to have things to talk about, and if you don't have them, you need to start working on developing them. Also, you need to have emotional intelligence that I'm also going to explain. Now you're going to say, why am I the one who is the problem and they're not the women who are the problem? And oh my god, Persephone, if only you knew, I talked to so many women and they were dumb as fuck, and I talked to them on Tinder and they talk about crazy stuff, no one cares. You're right. Life is unfair. And truth to be told, I'm going to say this and I don't want to sound a misogynist, I also find most women boring. That's why I like incel forums and not 2X chromosome ready female forums. The problem is, even a woman who is a 3 out of 10 and she's of an advanced age over 60 and she's obese, she can make it in there and she's going to have thousands of matches, and you're not going to have any besides like bots and women selling their OnlyFans to you. So you're the one who has to change, because you are the one who has the problem. What do you do? First of all, do you even know how to carry on a conversation as a beta male? And by carrying on a conversation, I mean If I had $1 every time someone joined my OnlyFans and they talked only about themselves, I would be richer than Elon Musk. Most people just think that the idea of a conversation, especially again from America, I don't know why, is that they're going to talk and talk and talk about themselves. Most of the things that they're going to say are extremely boring, or I have nothing to contribute. For example, gossip about their best friend, gossip about their dog, gossip about their mom, gossip about their town, and they are not going to actually make an effort to get to know the other person. So the first thing you need to do is you have to be interested. A good rule to follow is for everything you say about yourself, it's good to ask something similar to the other person. For example, you can talk about where you grew up and then you can ask the woman, where did you grow up? How was your childhood? If that's too hard, there are things online. You can Google things to ask on the first date. 200 questions to get to know someone. Things to ask cute girls at a party. I know it sounds dumb, I know it sounds basic, but they can help you unlock the conversation, move things on. Thing number 2, decide what you want. If you want to be a gamer and you say gaming is my passion, I can't, that's the only thing I want to do in my life. Extreme case, but I know men like that. You are going to have to find a gamer girlfriend. It's easier to find gold in your backyard than to find a gamer girlfriend, because these girls have extreme competition. They have an army of men throwing money and attention and affection and obsession to them. It's like me wanting to date a K-pop idol. So either you're going to have to be a top gamer, or you're going to have to be a child, extremely good looking and have very strong game with women. Highly unlikely if you watch my channel, but I have to mention it. Or you have to be extremely rich, and we're going to get to the third point of being rich. When it comes, you're going to say, why do I have to be extremely rich? I'm going MGTOW, or women are gold diggers, and so on. That may be true, but money serves a purpose that you cannot fulfill otherwise. And that is, if everything else has failed, you're still ugly, you don't know how to make conversation, your autism gets in the way, and you can't take your gaming career off the ground, but you still want a girlfriend, you need to have enough money to do things with that girlfriend so you're not both bored out of your freaking minds. For example, people who go traveling together have a lot to talk about when it comes to the traveling experience, and afterwards they build memories together. People who go, have a hobby or an experience together or take a class together have something to talk about. People who go watch even a 3D movie or virtual reality or whatever together, they also have things to talk about. And since we still live in a society where men are expected to be providers, your hope is being wealthy enough to provide an exciting life to a woman who is actually going to pay you back with your attention, affection, love, sex, cuckolding if that's your thing, and so on. Those are the possible things that you can do if you are a beta male. So, step 1, to summarize, find out who you are, find out who are your problems. If your mom has been telling you you're a special snowflake and you exist, and women have to come worship you, and that doesn't happen, it's because you're extremely handsome and talented at the eyes of your mom, but that's about it. You have to work like everybody else. There are men like that. In rare cases, there are men like that they have the charisma, they have the looks, they have what it takes to attract women like that, but they're the minority. So when your society is telling you, is feeding you such extreme unrealistic expectations, it's setting you up for failure before you even try. I cannot believe that I meet men in their 30s, 40s, 50s who tell me, no one told me I need to work out to look good to attract women. No one told me I need to not be boring. I never sat down to think if I'm boring. Because my 2 best friends that I have ever since I was 8 find me interesting. And the 2 best friends are also coincidentally incels. So those are things that you actually need to work on day after day after day. And at first, if you're also the autistic basement dweller type, it's going to be difficult. So online dating is a safer choice, but still you have to appear interested and interesting. And at first you are going to prepare to fail, which is also part of the learning experience, but I have to put you on the right track. Because I'm not going to sound too narcissistic here. I meet so many men who think, if only I dated you, my life would never be boring. Someone told me that, and thank you. Truth is, my life would have been extremely boring though. Because if I am the one doing all the entertaining, doing all the planning, doing all the talking, then I'm just not interested, That's already my job in a way. So in my free time, I don't want to do that. I want to be the schizo autist in my room doing my own thing. So in a similar way, you have to sit down and ask yourself, what do I bring to the table? Not in a dehumanizing, exploitative, gold-digging way, but relationships don't have to be transactional, but they still have to be mutually beneficial. You need to give things in order to take things. Just existing and saying I'm entitled, unfortunately, that's female privilege in the current dystopia. And that is also something that is fueled by the desperation of men. Because the men who are actually worshipping women who are a 2 out of 10 are men that they don't know what they're doing wrong. So I know that this is going to upset a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you, even if your penis is 2 inches and you want to serve a goddess, you need to not be insufferable as a person, and you need to have money to fund your luxurious lifestyle. Because I'm sorry to tell you that it costs to be pretty. It's very expensive to be pretty. So you have to bring those things to the table too. And if I had to pick between 2 people who are my subs, and one of them has a pleasant, interesting personality and things to talk about, and the other one is an insufferable, whiny attention whore, and they give me the same amount of money, we all know who I'm going to dismiss. Okay, number 2. Because I don't have endless time and I gravitate towards the easier path. We don't have infinite willpower, so during the day I have to do things that they allow me to preserve my sanity, they allow me to preserve my willpower and pursue my other goals. So if you are a sub watching this and goddesses have been ghosting you, dropping you right and left, there is a chance that your personality is the problem. Because even goddesses who are successful, we can pick which subs we want to associate with. Okay. In any case, I know this all sounds very overwhelming. If you feel that you try and it's too chaotic, it's too stressful, and you don't want to do it, I'm going to always recommend that therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy. Why do I say cognitive behavioral therapy and not psychoanalysis? Reason number 1, I've tried almost any kind of therapy that exists, and that was the type that helped me the most. Reason number 2, it has a limited number of sessions, 10, 20, 30 sessions. It's not you talking about your childhood for years and years and years and years, which I'm also past the point of doing. Thing number 3, it has a specific goal. So you can go to the therapist, you can find a certified cognitive behavioral therapist even online. From the comfort of your own house, you don't have to go out of the basement and face the world. And you can say, I want to build social skills that will allow me to date. How am I going to do that? And the therapist is going to help you.